ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to introduce the starting lineups for this semifinal of the 1989 State Hockey Tournament. First, the starters for the champions of Section 2, the Duluth Denfeld Hunters. In goal, number 35, John Michelizzi. At defense, number 11, Dale Anderson. And number 14, Tony Burns. At center, number 8, Troy Skorich. At wing, number 6, Greg Christensen. And number 19, Earl Rock. The coach of the Hunters in his 5th season, Bill Vukanich. And now, let's meet the champions of Section 1, the Rochester John Marshall Rockets. In goal, number 1, Sam Pearson. At defense, number 4, Rob Danig. And number 17, Doug Zamole. At center, number 14, Corey Ratzlaff. At wing, number 7, Earl Monsrud. And number 21, Jeff Fogarty. The head coach of the Rockets in his 12th season, Bob Brecker. Your officials for the semifinal game, the linesman is Bruce Lind, and your referees, Larry Dow and Mark Whipple. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please stand and honor America as the Denfeld High School Band, under the direction of Jerry Clune, leads us in our national anthem.
And we're ready to go with the first semifinal of the day. Rochester John Marshall with a record of 22-4-1. The Duluth Denfeld Hunters are 20-7, champions of Section 2. They have never been in the state final. Hoping to gain the berth today, Rochester John Marshall's last time in the state championship was 1979.
Both those clubs gather around their goaltender, and you know, Chris, each of them has had an outstanding season. It's going to be a real goaltender's battle today. I look for both goaltenders to have to make some quality saves, and a number of them throughout, because each offense does get opportunities. They've got good people back in the blue line that like to move the puck. Zmolik and Means, most notably on the Rochester team and probably in the tournament. Means, by the way, was tied for the most goals with Ratzlaff coming into the tournament. And for Duluth, you got Burns that likes to rush the puck as well. And they do have Skorich, who plays a lot of hockey in the middle. And he just seems to generate some chances whenever he's out there. So it should make for an interesting afternoon for Michelizzi and Pearson. And the one that's best is going to be in the finals tomorrow.
Well, Sam Pearson certainly made a lot of fans yesterday with his outstanding performance against Edina. In particular, against Tom Nevers, who did score twice for the Hornets, but Pearson made some clutch saves down the stretch to preserve the victory, and we're underway with the first semifinal. The puck cleared down into Rochester John Marshall territory, and an offside is quickly whistled. Starting up front, Corey Ratzloff, Jeff Fogarty, and Eric Monsrud. For Rochester John Marshall, Scorch Christensen, and Earl Rock. For Duluth Denfeld, Rob Danik behind his own goal. Feeds it up on the wing, and a lead pass for Ratzloff at center. Good skating center iceman. Ratzloff almost went all the way. Taken against the boards. That's Dale Anderson getting it out of the zone. And here comes Christensen just stepping in offside at the line. And we played 32 seconds of this first period.
Well, in that 32 seconds, we saw Ratzloff make a rush down the ice. And what was most impressive, he had to go into both defensemen, Burns and Anderson. And Ratzloff, even though he's not a big boy, he's 5'10", 160. And you look at Burns back in defense, and Burns, one of the bigger players on Duluth team at 6'2", 190. He couldn't knock him down. He's got good balance.
That's Eric Means with the puck. Had a great goal yesterday against Edina. Clears it ahead. And here come the Rockets over the line. Max centers it in front, and Troy Bixby couldn't reach the pass. Means steps up and fires a weak shot in on Michelizzi, who elects to hold on for a faceoff. Close friend of Rob Stauber, and Michelizzi has provided, well, a great heir to Stauber's fine career in Duluth. From the faceoff, Denfeld comes up with it. That's Brett Larson handing off to his defensive partner, E.J. White. Up front, we've got Fairchild, Nelson, and Carlson for Duluth Denfeld. It's Bixby, Podine, and Rob Mack for Rochester John Marshall. Steve Williams clears it down into Denfeld territory. That's E.J. White, rink-wide pass. He was looking for Bruce Carlson, and it's Steve Williams. Williams plays defense with Eric Means, and they are next-door neighbors. This is Means with the puck. Means moving in, fires off an ankle. Rebound, Means missed the puck. Back comes Duluth Denfeld. Brett Apps, Dan Lepisto, and Chad Johnson are up front now for the Hunters. And that's Epps clearing it in. And Doug Smolik now takes over. Smolik outstanding in the opener against Edina. Feeds it ahead, and it's dumped into the center ice zone. Smolik up with it again. And Rochester John Marshall has control. 12 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first period. No score between the Hunters and the Rockets. Now here's a loose puck. Christensen moving in. His shot was blocked. Good defensive play by Rob Danik. Danik hands off to Smolik. Forechecking is Earl Rock. Christensen on that far side for Duluth. Knocks it into the corner. Skorich behind the net. Trying to center. Now pitching in is Tony Burns. Great offensive defenseman. And we have three outstanding players in that category in this game. Tony Burns still forechecking. There's Smolik, 17 for Rochester John Marshall. Smolik gets it ahead to John Hilken, and he just gets rid of it to center ice. Now it's Dale Anderson firing it right back in. And Duluth Denfeld makes a line change. Danik clears it ahead. Now it's T.J. Ratzloff as they get the fourth line out on the ice early for Rochester John Marshall. It's Kevin Anderson, T.J. Ratzloff, and Brock Peterson. Puck is fired in. Bruce Carlson's after it. Fairchild in front, and the pass was deflected. In the center ice zone, Fairchild can't get loose, and back the other way come the Rockets. This is Ratzloff in. Corey Ratzloff, and he can't get by the defense. And Duluth Denfeld clears it down the ice. 11:06 left first period. With the score, Duluth Denfeld nothing, Rochester John Marshall nothing. This is Hockey 89 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
The 1989 Chevrolet Celebrity, all dressed up without running up the price. $11,870 at your Heartland Chevrolet dealers. The 1989 Chevy Celebrity, $11,870 after a $1,000 rebate at your Heartland Chevrolet dealers. Celebrity, on sale now.
Well, Coach Furker has given his fourth line some ice time already. I'm sure he's going to try and wear down the first line of Duluth, because Duluth's first line does see a great deal of action throughout the course of an afternoon here.
And the two big lines have been matched up here as they held it just long enough for a face-off. Alongside the net of John Michelizzi.
We've got 10:58 to go in the first period, in the 15-minute period, and this is Scorch's third shift already. So you know that the other lines take a short shift. Most notably, the Pistols line is out there for only 30 seconds. So Scorch's line's been on 3 times already in the first 4.5 minutes.
And it's Ratzlaff, Fogarty, and Monsrud up front for Rochester John Marshall. Here's a chance. It's Ratzlaff, the shot. Michelizzi with his toughest save so far.
Well, Michelizzi has to make the save, and he had a little help in front from his defenseman, and he needed it because Monsrud was right on the doorstep as was Ratzlaff going towards the net. You see the shot there from Ratzlaff. He follows up and goes towards the net, and Monsrud on the doorstep taken out by the defenseman. A lot of help by Tony Burns out there.
Earl Rock to take the face-off against Ratzlaff, and Rock wins it cleanly. Larson behind the goal for E.J. White. That's Edward James White. Number 16 for Duluth. They move it in, and a 2-line pass is called, and an offside with 10:34 to go in this first period.
Well, number 8 on Rochester, that's number 8 in Duluth, but number 8 in Rochester, Eric Means, loves to go with the puck and loves to go for the puck. The one thing he's going to have to guard against, Duluth has tried 3 long passes. One time the puck got knocked out of the air, otherwise the Duluth wing would have been all alone. Means was standing up gambling, trying to intercept the long pass.
That's Brett Apps clearing it down, a bouncing puck in on Sam Pearson, and he elects to hold on. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Getting bogged down in financing can put the home of your dreams out of your reach. Now there's help. Realty World and TCF.
Okay, guys. Right now, the Pistols line, and they'll probably be out there for a short shift. We'll see just how quickly they change it.
Back the other way, it's Podine moving down ice across the line, offside. Podine, number 22, whose brother Sean was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers.
Sean was more of an offensive player, Chris, than Ryan seems to be, but Ryan seems to use his body a great deal more. He's much more physical a player.
And it's Lepisto against Podine on this faceoff outside the Duluth Denfeld blue line. Rob Mack cleared it to the line. That's Schweiger going after it. And he is belted into the boards right in front of the Duluth Denfeld bench. Tony Burns dumped in his own zone. Lepisto tries to knock it free, but it's Podine up with it for Rochester John Marshall. To Smolik. Big shot, but it was blocked by Brett Apps. And they'll have to try and keep Smolik in check as much as possible. Eric Smith back into his own zone. Handed it to Tony Burns, who was pinching in. Now John Marshall gets it out on the second try. Anderson dumped it toward the bench. Looked like Rochester John Marshall had 7 or 8 players on the ice momentarily. Play continues. Big Smolik winding up. Great skater and an offensive talent up ahead at center ice. That was broken up. And it's Brian Nelson clearing it to the line, kept in by Means. Here's Eric Means, can't get a shot away. Puck is loose on the near side. John Hilken with it. Hilkin still looking for his first goal this year. At center, Means out momentarily with Smolik, and now Smolik goes to the bench. They've split those outstanding defensive players. Here's Means moving in, but it was offside.
Well, Means and Smolik, they end up on the ice every second shift with each other. It seems like they're getting the additional ice time. It's almost like Furker is using those two plus another one, just the interchange. So he always has one on the ice, Means and Smolik, and at times he has them both on. And when they're both on the ice, Duluth has got to be very careful because each of them can move with that puck and move it very quickly. Smolik today is even more impressive than he was yesterday, just in this short time.
With the score, Rochester, John Marshall, nothing. Duluth Denfeld, nothing. This is Hockey 89, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Good stuff.
Low prices.
Good stuff.
Low prices.
Good stuff.
Low prices.
Okay. Okay. Low prices.
And good stuff.
Can't beat that.
Well, you're looking at Coach Vukanich's last year coaching high school. He's announced his retirement. He certainly would like to go out with a trip to the state finals and definitely a championship if he could achieve that. As Chris was saying at the outset, no Section 2 team has yet won the state championship. We've had some problem with the ice for the last couple of days, and you see it again, and it usually occurs along the boards where some chunks are chipped out, and the referees have to get some snow and pat it down and put some water on and get it to freeze so that people don't get hurt going along the boards or get thrown at the boards in an odd manner because of it. And at the least, you usually get your skates chopped up, so the kids have to have their skates redone, and sometimes while the play's going on.
That was quite a statistic. 43 years since the last time we had a semifinal between the North and the South. Well, there was a lot of talk coming into the tournament this year that the same old teams were in the Final 8 every year, and maybe they should change things up, but this year has been dramatically different, and I think a lot of fans have been intrigued by the new matchups in '89.
Well, one of the reasons why it's been a long time, 43 years for that semifinal, for just the past 15 years, maybe Rochester become a power in hockey. Before that, there wasn't much hockey down southern Minnesota. It's really grown in the last 15 years. They had some teams as far back as 20, 25 years ago, but they weren't really the powers that they've become today.
Puck flipped high, and the infield fly rule in effect, and Michelizzi brought it down. Well, they don't whistle it down. Play continues. And it's cleared back in on Michelizzi. Back to get it's Brett Larson, number 18. Larson has the big line in front of him. Skorich, Rock, and Christensen. Let's see if they can get going, but the puck pops over the glass and out of play. 8:18 to go in the first period.
Brett Larson, number 18, and E.J. White, number 16. We haven't talked too much about them, but they've been a very solid pair on defense for Duluth. And they get a great deal of ice time because Duluth has been going with 4 defensemen for both games. They haven't used 5 and 6 very much, and so those two people get out on the ice quite a bit.
Ratzlaff, Fogarty, and Monsrud up front now for Rochester, John Marshall. That's Anderson flipping it ahead. Carlson tried to glove it down, broken up by Monsrud, and that's Monsrud, number 7, with the puck. Flipping it down into Duluth Denfeld territory, and Anderson goes back to get it. Anderson off the boards past everybody, and this will be icing against the Hunters. 7:52 left first period. And there's a look at Tony Burns, one of 3 outstanding defensemen in this afternoon's semifinal.
They rate him as a Division I prospect. He's got good size, as we were talking about earlier. He's their captain. He likes to hit people, too, and that's what Duluth has to have around that net to give protection to those goaltenders, to make certain somebody's taking a man out around the goal crease.
Here's Brian Nelson moving down left wing. Carlson's out in front. The centering pass was behind Carlson. Up against the boards. Duluth tries to dig it free, and they come up with it. Fairchild knocked it loose. It came to the line, and back the other way comes Ratzlaff with Fogarty, and it was called on the offside, breaking up a 3-on-1 break for Rochester John Marshall.
Jeff Fogarty getting just a little too anxious, and you got to hold up in a case like that because it was a good 3-on-1 break. Could have been the best scoring opportunity of the afternoon. As we look at Rob Danek, a very solid, steady performer back in defense for Rochester. He moves the puck real well. He's an unheralded person, especially playing behind people like Zmolik and Means, but he does a great job for that Rochester Hockey Club.
Great student as well, a 4.0 grade point average, and he plans to be an engineer when his hockey career ends. That's Danek with the puck. Now to Zmolik. Back to Danek. Interesting the way Bob Furker has paired his defensemen. He's got the great rushing defensemen in Zmolik and Means paired off with good stay-at-home defensemen. Now here comes Ratzlaff with Fogarty. Ratzlaff moves in, shoots well off the target. On the other side, Monsrud can't control. It's kept in at the point by Zmolik. And now Duluth Denfeld gets it down the ice. After the puck is scorched, he can't get loose, and Zmolik will take over to Ratzlaff. There's Fogarty. He had a big game yesterday, a goal and a couple of assists. This time the puck deflects over the glass and out of play. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Better Highline presents Minnesota's largest home improvement and patio show, Wednesday, March 8th through Sunday the 12th at the St. Paul Civic Center. The Home Improvement and Patio Show. Don't miss it.
6:33 remaining in a scoreless game, 0-0. Ready for a face-off in the center ice area.
Rob Mack, Ryan Podine, Troy Bixby up front for the Rockets. It's Apps, Lepisto, and Schweiger for Duluth Denfeld. Anderson pinned against the boards. He's taken down. They try to kick the puck loose, and finally, apparently somebody gloved the puck ahead, and they whistle play down.
Whenever Duluth has got Skoric's line on the bench, it's not a bad thing for their forwards or defensemen to take whistles. That gives that line an extra bit of rest, and they're going to need it because they're going to play much more than the other two lines, probably as much as the other two lines combined.
This is a young line out there right now for Duluth Denfeld, a couple of sophomores and a junior. In fact, there are 8 sophomores on the Duluth Denfeld team. One of the youngest in the tournament. So Bill Vukanich is leaving a team with a pretty good future. Schweiger taken down along the boards a couple of times, and now Rochester John Marshall comes up with the puck. Inside the line they move. Here's a centering pass, and Podine couldn't reach it, and back the other way. It's Dan Lepisto clearing it in. Funny hop off the boards. And there's Zmolik. Up on the left side to Mack. Mack can't get loose. Back in goes Means. Here's a puck cleared down into Duluth Denfeld territory. The Hunters come up with it. The lead pass for Carlson. He can't handle it, but E.J. White knocks it outside the zone. It's cleared back in, and offside is the call.
Well, that puck as it was being thrown in just hit Bucky Flores. As Flores was trying to leave the zone, he was having his stick held back by a Duluth defenseman, and it hit his body, and offside was called.
John Hilken, Pat Blondin, and Bucky Flores for Rochester John Marshall. Michelizzi clears it to the line and out, and here comes Corey Fairchild. Fairchild to the line, shot right on. Pearson makes the stop. He hasn't been too busy so far in this first period. Now Hilken stopped by the pinching defenseman E.J. White. It's centered out in front. Puck is loose. Here's a chance for Brett Larson, and Larson's knocked off the puck. Hilken can't clear, however. Duluth now putting on a bit of a spurt. Forechecking, and Zmolik takes over. Good-looking defenseman gets it ahead to Flores. And the puck now deflecting to Steve Williams. Williams has some trouble with it. Zmolik gets the pass to Hilken. There's a shot, and it just whistled wide. Flores taken down. Zmolik pinches in. Zmolik ridden off the puck. And it's E.J. White, checked by Hilken. So Larson will take over. Brett Larson was in the tournament a year ago. So was E.J. White. He bangs at it, but that's Bucky Flores causing all kinds of trouble before he's finally taken down. Now Larson clears it into the center ice zone. We have 3 minutes, 55 seconds to go in a scoreless first period. Semifinal game number 1. Now here comes John Marshall. A shot blocked by Brett Larson. Pete Jope on the ice now. First time we've seen him today. And Duluth Denfeld clears it away. Here's Earl Rock trying to center it. Skorich is after it. And it's cleared down the ice by John Marshall. Anderson. Up ahead it goes. Skorich and Christensen with Earl Rock. And now a race for it the other way. T.J. Ratzlaff ridden off the puck by Tony Burns. Burns lead pass, good one. Out at center ice, and Christensen can't get loose. Back is Fogarty. He is checked. And nobody can generate any sustained offense, but here comes Fogarty. Fogarty shot. Michelizzi with the save. Fogarty follows up, and he was checked.
The pace of the play, though, Chris, is the best these two teams have exhibited in the 2 days. They've had some real good action up and down, and the puck movement has been better than they've shown. Their passing has been much sharper. Just right there, 3 exchanges and perfect passes.
Ratzlaff and Fogarty moving down. That was broken up, and back the other way comes Brett Apps. Apps just fires it in. Duluth makes a line change. And Eric Means clears it ahead to Fogarty. Fogarty. His shot off an ankle, goes wide of the goal. Larson takes a hit from Monsrud. Fogarty trying to come out in front, got the backhand away. Puck at center ice, cleared right back in. And that big line for Rochester, John Marshall, heads to the bench. Larson to White, back to Larson. Rob Mack, Sean Podine, and Troy Bixby now go out. Check that, not Sean, Ryan Podine. Wrapped around the boards, that's Mack giving chase. He can't catch up with it. Back the other way comes Carlson, and he clears it down into Rochester, John Marshall territory. Rob Danik with the puck. Lead pass for Mack too far. Duluth Denfeld breaks that up, but they can't get by Smolik. Skorich will turn in his own zone. Up ahead for Christensen. Here's Christensen dumped by Danik, and Smolik is able to get to the puck first. They pile up along the boards with less than a minute to go in the first period. Christensen digs it loose. Here's Christensen, and he blasted that high. Boy, that was a good chance for Duluth Denfeld. Puck cleared off the boards and past the Duluth Denfeld defenseman down into Hunter territory. 43 seconds to go, first period. Here's Anderson losing the puck. Back in comes Blondin, and he just can't get loose. Eric Means gave the puck to Tony Burns. Burns passes ahead for Apps. Apps can't get loose. Now following up on the play is Burns inside the line. Apps takes a shot wide of the goal. Bucky Flores with it. Flores ahead to Hilken. Now up to Blondin. Blondin couldn't control the pass, and we've got 10 seconds left first period. Still scoreless. Long, well, he was going to take a long shot. Now does. Pearson gloves it down, and that will do it for period number 1. At times tentative, at times freewheeling. And not much to decide between Rochester, John Marshall, and Duluth Denfeld.
A real good period of hockey, Chris. I thought that each of the clubs played as well as they played for the past 2 days. And I say as well because they had to play it at the level of play was so high. Each of them were moving the puck crisply, quickly. They were hitting the open man and putting it on a stick. They didn't have real good chances, but they had a couple of chances. as you said, Duluth had the best chance when Christensen was moving to full speed, had a shot from 40 feet, put it over the net. Rochester had a couple in close, but overall a real good period of play and an even period of play like we expected at the outset.
There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
March Madness means two things: exciting action on the ice and winter weather outside. For complete weather updates throughout the tournament, turn to Weather Center 4, keeping you ahead of the storm.
So no score after one period of play. Good goaltending at either end, but not many good scoring chances. Let's go down to hockey control.
Well, Chris, you just brought up a good point. Louis, I was going to ask you this because we're not really seeing the 2-on-1s or the 3-on-2s. We have two good goaltenders. Maybe it's the sophistication of the defenses and being two really well-coached teams, because defensively they're really covering up for each other.
They really are. They aren't getting that extra forward caught in deep. They always have somebody back to help the defenseman. The closest they got to being caught was Mean standing up for a couple of passes, and I think he might get caught before the afternoon's out because he likes to go for the puck. He's a very good player, but he gambles maybe a little bit too much, and I think you're going to see him get caught one time.
All right, Lou and Chris and Ralph are going to have a chance to discuss more about this game, but first we're going to go down to Tom Hanneman on the ice. And, you know, weather has been a big factor. A lot of the Rochester fans couldn't get here. Those who did had a battle, and Tom, you were with a couple of those.
That's right. Steve and Kathy Danek, whose son Rob is a defenseman for Rochester John Marshall. How was the driving, let me ask you to begin with, coming down?
Well, I said it wasn't too bad. Kathy said it was pretty bad. So.
It was bad. Yes.
It was a little windy out there. Pretty hard to see coming up, but not too bad.
We've received word that there are a lot of JM fans that have not had a chance to make the trip up. Is that true?
Well, instead they didn't bring the buses up, and the band didn't come, of course. They had canceled the school for the day, so you know, they obviously couldn't bring the bus up with the band in it. So that's unfortunate. But we're out there cheering anyhow. We're trying to remember the school song so we can we can cheer them on.
Makes a difference in the noise level a little bit, but you're trying to pick it up, huh?
Quite a bit of difference for the kids, I know.
Well, the good thing is that folks down in Rochester have a chance to watch the Rockets on television this game.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, and good luck getting back as well. Back to Sports Control.
Okay, Tom.
I know the Daneks are real proud of their son, not just for being on the ice. He has a 4.0 grade average, RJ.
He is up there, isn't he?
True, that can't get any better than that.
Right around where you and I were, yes.
Combined.
Well, this is live continuing coverage combined from the 1989 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
We're back with another test of Chevy versus Ford. And this one you can do at home. Just load both trucks with eggs, then lower something heavy down on them. You'll see that Chevy has these notches that let you do double-deck loading. You'll see that Ford doesn't have any notches. That's why we've had a change of heart about pickups. With Ford, you can bring home the bacon. With Chevy, you can bring home the bacon and the eggs.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevy truck.
Panasonic video. All on sale. 3 days only at Best Buy. Panasonic televisions and VCR. Panasonic camcorders. All on sale. Thursday through Saturday, Best Buy's 3-day video sale. Top name brands on sale at Best Buy.
Here's some news the Noid won't like. Domino's Pan Pizza. Thick, chewy crust smothered with cheese and toppings and delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. Sorry, Noid. Call for Domino's Pan Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
Big news from Domino's Pan Pizza. Call for our Pan Pizza meal deal. A pan pizza with 2 toppings and 2 servings of Coke, just $8.95 plus tax. Call your participating Domino's Pizza store today.
Cars aren't cheap, never have been. That's why I never take shortcuts with cheap oil and air filters. Give me AC filters every time. AC filters match the original specs on my cars like a nut on a bolt.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Precision AC Delco parts are available at your local 10,000 Auto Parts store.
Back live at the St. Paul Civic Center. We are scoreless after the first period in our semifinal game between Duluth Denfeld and Rochester John Marshall. Not a lot of action in that first period. Not a lot of saves, a lot of shots on goal for either team, Mark. But Duluth Denfeld, John Michelizzi coming up with a big save on Retzloff right here. And that they did have a few, but the saves, well, John Michelizzi had 6 for Duluth. Sam Pearson had 3.
Well, this is how the teams got here. The best teams, the ones that end up in the championship game, are the ones that have the best defenses. And you look at Denfeld, they lost 7 games this year, and you might say, oh, they got roughed up a little bit. Well, 6 of those losses were by 1 goal. 5 of those losses were in a row earlier in the year, but since then they've tightened everything up defensively, and it's an indication of the way they're playing again today.
Maybe we could find out from Louis upstairs when we go up there a little later. Some people are saying, well, why all of a sudden the defense? But things do get a little tighter when you get to the state tournament time. People are saying, well, we had a 2-1 game in the first one against with Edina. Did Edina leave it all on the ice in the Section 6 finals? And did these teams, did maybe Rochester John Marshall leave it all on the ice when they played Edina? You just don't know exactly how they're going to react the next day.
Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing coverage of the 1989 State High School Hockey Tournament.
Down here, a paint's worst enemy is the blazing sun. That's why the great American home of Henry Ford is being protected with new Sears Advanced Formula Weather Beater. It's the most durable paint we've ever offered. After all, for over 12 years, Weather Beater has maintained the home next door of Ford's close friend, Thomas Edison. Chances are it's on your neighbor's house, too. Sears Weather Beater, preferred by more homeowners for great American homes like yours.
Did you know you can get more Bears on the line here than in Chicago? Because NSP electric rates are 37% less. You can light more bright lights here than Hollywood. Because our electricity costs 17% less. And you can do more business here for less than even Wall Street. Because NSP electric rates are among the lowest in the country. And isn't this a good place to be? Creative energy. NSP.
Used to be, when investors got into the stock market, they could almost plan on things going one way. But unfortunately, things don't always come out as planned. So if you're looking for an investment you can count on, come to TCF for a variety of insured savings plans that offer a guaranteed rate and keep yourself well covered.
In northern Minnesota, 150,000 white-tailed deer could starve to death. Deep snow and severe cold are making it difficult for the whitetail to find food. I'm Don Shelby. The DNR, with help from volunteers from other organizations, is feeding thousands of starving deer. But they need our help and they need our money. Take the time to help save the whitetail. Send a check to the For the Deer Fund. And please, take time to share.
No score between Rochester John Marshall and Duluth Denfeld at the end of the first period in today's first semifinal game. Well, you may not always see them on television, but you often hear them. We're talking about pep bands. Here's the story of one such rabble-rousing group from Duluth Denfeld.
No, Jerry Clune is not Professor Harold Hill, but he is a music man. Clune knows leading a pep band is not the stuff of Hollywood glamour.
Havoc, havoc.
Of course, the end product is what counts. Denfeld's pep band has international flavor. 2 exchange students have never seen hockey before this year. Dolphine Lambert of France and New Zealander Andrea Keeling.
I like it very much because it's very new for me and it's very exciting.
We don't have as much school spirit. Nobody comes to we play rugby and nobody comes to the games and stuff, so this is all new to me. It's really great.
By the way, here's how the French say the state high school hockey tournament.
Un tournoi de hockey sur glace pour les lycées.
And and that means there's no score at the end of the first period. It's nice to see the Duluth Denfeld band was able to get here. A little bit easier to travel north to south, and certainly it is with all the snow down south for the Rochester people. Many of them could not get here for this afternoon's game.
Right. We're going back down to the ice, and let's see who's here. Tom, are you there?
I am here with Skip Humphrey and some very special guests. And Skip, before we make a very special presentation, let's talk a little bit about the drug-free party that's going to be going on tonight.
Yes, there's this evening from 8 to 12 right here at the Roy Wilkins Arena at the Civic Arena here in St. Paul. We're holding Breakaway 3, street party. It's drug and alcohol free, and all of the students that are here and members are invited to come and spend a couple of hours having a really good time. We're going to have big-time video. We've got lots of prizes. We've got lots of pizza. Many good corporate sponsors that have helped us to allow young people here at the tournament to have some fun, alcohol and drug-free.
Goes hand in hand with the trophy we're about to present. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yes, indeed. Well, in conjunction, the Attorney General's Alliance for a Drug-Free Minnesota, in conjunction with the Minnesota Vikings, the Most Valuable Player contest, again, put together a contest for promotion of drug-free society in Minnesota and asked schools throughout the state to become involved. This year, over 200 schools, up from 50 schools last year, competed in a contest that also provided for a $1,000 scholarship to the winner for promotion of a drug-free society. And for the second year in a row, St. Peter High School won this contest. And I am here and very honored to present to members of the St. Peter hockey team as the trophy for first place, second time in a row, to St. Peter High School. They have done an outstanding job of promoting a drug-free society, an alcohol-free society. Over 92% of all the students submitted and pledged to a drug-free society.
As you make that presentation quickly, we'll get the names of the gentlemen here from St. Peter.
I'm John Bigham. I'm one of the hockey coaches and teach math at the high school.
Ethan Anderson. I play on the LSP hockey team.
Travis Rowe. I play on the LSP hockey team.
Dan Stransky. I'm a member of the LSP hockey team.
Congratulations to St. Peter High School. Thank you, Skip Humphrey.
Congratulations.
Back to Sports Control.
All right, hope everyone can make it safely to that terrific party tonight going on here at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. Congratulations once again to St. Peter High School.
Something tells me they drove up here a little early, too, them being in the southern part of the state. Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing coverage of the 1989 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
I ate a lot of stuff because it was chic. I mean, I ate raw fish because it was chic. But steaks and burgers, they make me happy. And I like being happy.
I got a taste for some real food.
My friends, they dragged me to this really trendy restaurant, you know? I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect roast beef. No, roast beef. So what? Does this mean I've been trendy my whole life?
I got a taste for some real food.
The glacial lakes of South Dakota are filled with beautiful campgrounds and family recreation. The glacial lakes are also filled with some of the finest northern pike and bass lakes in the Midwest. To find out more about South Dakota fishing opportunities and a chance to win a free fishing weekend with Tony Dean on Lake Oahe at Mobridge, call 1-800-843-1930 or write South Dakota Tourism, Capitol Lake Plaza, Pier, South Dakota, 57501.
The following retailers would like to remind you that spring is just around the corner.
Funky.
I know you're going to do this.
Nasty. Hey!
Hi, Dad. Jane.
Hey, Jim.
Cool.
I think we're a success.
Where'd you learn to use all this stuff?
Training at the Technical Institute, Jim. That's how I got my job here.
I still don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Jim, whatever career you decide on, just make sure that the school that you choose puts you to work when you finish.
Feel good about yourself and feel great about your future.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly, and you're watching Channel 4, the Twin Station.
This is a game where all the little things make such a big difference. And one man I know Lou Nanny was very impressed with in that first period was Doug Zamolak, the defenseman for Rochester John Marshall. We hear of Doug's ability as an offensive-minded defenseman, but Louis, as we start the second period, I know you were real impressed with his work around the net.
Well, Louis himself was an offensive-minded defenseman.
Never played defense, though.
I know.
Well, I want to tell you, I was just telling Tommy Reed upstairs, Doug Zamolak is the most impressive hockey player I've seen in the tournament, I think, in about 4 or 5 years. This kid's going to have a great career. I'm just really very, very impressed by the capability he's got to play both offense and defense, and I think that the university's got themselves a blue-chip athlete in that youngster.
Boy, that says a lot last 5 years, but Smolak has been very impressive, and you get the impression in a tight game like this that Smolak could be the difference. Rochester John Marshall, Duluth Denfeld scoreless after 1 as we get set for the second period of play, and that is Doug Smolak with the puck. Scorch, Christensen, and Rock up front for Duluth Denfeld as it's cleared down in on John Michelizzi. Back to get it, Tony Burns. He leaves it for Skorich. Up ahead on left wing to Greg Christensen. Christensen fires it in wide of the goal. Now goes after it against Smolak. Christensen in the corner. Taken off the puck. Corey Ratzlaff back to help his defenseman. But look at Duluth Denfeld. Forecheck, center score! Christensen! And an early goal for the Hunters.
And what a play by Skorich and Christensen. A great pass off the boards, but Christensen had to accept that pass and fire it real quickly to get it away. Watch Skorich make a pinpoint pass from the right boards, the goalie's left, right here, right to Christensen. Watch him turn and fire it in quickly. A great play by Skorich and an excellent shot by Christensen. Pearson just got beat on the quickness of it as Christensen was coming out of the corner after getting the puck up the boards. And Duluth breaks out to a quick 1-0 lead in the second period. 14:24 remaining.
36 seconds, time of the goal. Christensen's 18th of the year from Skorch. And it's 1-0. Just the 4th shot on goal for Duluth Denfeld in the game. Now Eric Means starts back for Rochester. John Marshall scores! That didn't take long.
Eric Means breaking down the left side. He shoots the puck exactly where you have to shoot it, on the far post, down low, where the goalie can't glove it, and he just isn't quick enough to get it with his skate. Watch this shot on the far side. Look, just a perfect shot inside the pipe. That's as good as you can shoot the puck. And Podine will get an assist because he got that puck to Means. But what a shot by Means. Look at this. Right inside the pipe. Just a perfectly placed shot to tie the game with 14:15 remaining.
9 seconds after Duluth Denfeld had taken the lead, Rochester John Marshall comes back to tie it. Means his 25th of the year at 45 seconds from Podine. Before the period started, I was going to ask you if you had a feeling it might be a 1-0 game. There he is, the goal scorer. No, I won't ask now. Who knows? We might have a shootout. Back comes Rochester John Marshall. There's a shot. Michelizzi with the save. Podine off the board. Speeds back to Means. Shot. Goes through traffic but wide of the goal. Steve Williams pinches in. Puck is loose. Cleared to the line. Kept in. And now taking over is E.J. White. Out to center it goes. There's Podine. Sidesteps a check. Loses possession. And back comes Bruce Carlson. He ducked under one check. Carlson goes after it and loses it as Podine backhands it down the ice. Icing the call, 13:21 remaining second period. And with the score, Rochester John Marshall 1, Duluth Denfeld 1. This is Hockey 89, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Well, what can we do for you? My name is John, and I'd like to explain.
When you go to some banks to borrow money, the way you're treated is almost criminal. What do you want the money for?
Well, I'd like to buy
What makes you think we should give you the money?
Well, I thought you were the ones who had it. What is this?
Just sign it.
What?
Escape to TCF. We'll give you an answer within 8 hours on all kinds of loans.
How long will it take?
We'll get back to you.
Oh, 13:21 remaining in the tie game, 1-1. Face off deep in the Rochester zone.
And it has been a frantic second period so far as the puck cleared outside the line. Burns fires it back in. Duluth Denfeld clears the zone and moves back into forecheck. Smolik, right side for Bucky Flores. 5'2", but a tall heart, that's for sure. Flores goes to the net. And the puck cleared off the boards. Kept in at the point by Rob Danik as he rifles it around. On the other side, Burns dumps it to center. Hilken clears it back in. And Tony Burns goes back to get it again. Set a school record for most goals by a defenseman this year. Dan Lepisto out at center ice with Brett Apps and Steve Schweiger. That's Lepisto forechecking. Up with it, Smolik to Flores. Into the center ice zone. Blondin can't get loose. Smolik moving up. There's Smolik taking the pass and taking a hit at the blue line from Tony Burns. Now it's Greg Christensen, the goal scorer for Duluth Denfeld with the shot right on. Christensen crashes the boards. Scorch on the other side. He's hit by Means, bumped off the puck. Cleared to the line, kept in. This is the big line for Duluth Denfeld. And now back the other way comes the goal scorer, Means. One of two great offensive defensemen for Rochester, John Marshall. Here's a centering pass. Michelizzi knocked it down. Rebound. Michelizzi with the save. And the next shot went over the net. Close call there. And Duluth Denfeld relieves the pressure with a shot down the ice right on goaltender Sam Pearson.
And what a play by Means. He kicked that puck free to the shooter. That's the only way he could get it in a shooting position.
Brett Larson in his own zone. Flips it to center ice. That's Means. Off the boards. Fogarty to Ratzlaff. Here comes Ratzlaff. Moncrief breaking Ratzlaff. And a big stop by Michelizzi, who stood his ground and made the angle save. Now Ratzlaff moving in again. Around the boards, kept in by Smolik. Band on the shot, then lost it. And Carlson has it deflect off him down the ice. Bruce Carlson after it against Steve Williams. Carlson gets to it first. Smolik takes his man down. Still loose for Duluth Denfeld. They jam away at the side of the net, and Smolik takes possession. 10 minutes, 34 seconds left, second period. We've got a 1-1 tie, and icing is the call. With the score, Rochester, John Marshall 1, Duluth Denfeld 1. This is Hockey 89, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Just announced a buy now blockbuster from Chevrolet. 4.9 financing on many of Chevy's most popular cars and trucks. A Chevy blockbuster rate, 4.9, or choose cash back. Hurry, it won't last forever. It's your choice. Cash back or financing as low as 4.9 from Chevrolet. No matter which you choose, it's a buy now Chevy blockbuster. 4.9, now's the time at your local Heartland Chevy dealers. Hurry.
This game remains tied at 1 with 10:29 to go in the second period after John Michelizzi had to make two great saves to keep Duluth tied at 1.
Now on the move is Ryan Podine. He's taken down behind the goal. Podine with Bixby and Mack. That's Bixby, number 15 in the corner, working against Tony Burns. They hold it for a face-off. Lou, they tell us that those two goals 9 seconds apart, the fastest two goals by two teams ever in a semifinal game.
And that was a big goal for Rochester to bounce right back. Duluth had got that quick lead, and it looked like it was going to give them a lot more confidence and give them more offensive opportunities than they had in the first period, because they seemed that they were going to have some jump. But Eric Means comes right back and has a perfectly placed shot, beat Michelizzi on the far side to tie it at 1. Means can do that. As we said He was a leading goal scorer, tied with Ratzlaff coming into the tournament for Rochester.
Back it comes to Eric Smith. Shot through traffic. Rebound. Podine whacks at it. They bang away Michelizzi down, and you can see the puck is loose, and now play whistle down on a glove pass. But what a moment in front of John Michelizzi.
And Michelizzi had to make a couple of saves. The defense aren't knocking anybody down when he goes to freeze the puck. Everybody reaches for the puck. You'll see right here that the Duluth people are going for the puck rather than knocking like Bixby there, number 15, standing alone. He should have been knocked down, let the goaltender handle the puck. But Michelizzi makes the saves. 1-1, 9:55 to go in the second period. Rochester out shooting Duluth 14-5.
Tony Burns almost gloved that puck in his goal crease. Had he, a penalty shot would have been awarded. But he had to get it out of there any way he could. There's Bucky Flores, number 2, clearing it in front. Blondin right in on goal, and Michelizzi holds on.
You've got to see, it was funny, Burns and Flores off to the side of the face-off circle, shoving one another. And Bucky Flores, the smallest player in the tournament, he's only 5'2", and he's going against the big captain of Duluth, Tony Burns, at 6'2".
Bucky's the vice president of the junior class at Rochester John Marshall and plans to study political science at university. There's Larson. E.J. White. Up ahead it goes. And it's Corey Fairchild at center, clearing it in. Back to get it, Williams, off the boards. Hilken loses control. Here's a chance now for Duluth. Denfeld, the backhand right on Sam Pearson. And Fairchild was robbed there. We have a break in the action, and we'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Preseason savings on top quality Bryant air conditioning. Save up to $500. Call Paul Falls Company, serving St. Paul and suburbs.
Corey Fairchild, who had such a big afternoon yesterday, here gets a good opportunity coming out of the corner, and he scored a backhand goal yesterday. He tried it again. This time Pearson beats him. Score 1-1, 9:14 remaining in the second period.
He has a scoring touch, 193 points in Bantam hockey a year ago. At the point, Larson keeps it in. Smolik behind the goal, watched by Lepisto. Brett Apps takes his man to the boards, but the puck comes to center. And now play is whistled down, and
was hit with a high stick.
High stick is the call.
They'll bring the face-off all the way down into Duluth area. Right to the right of goaltender John Michelizzi. And Duluth quickly gets their first line back out. As we were saying, this third line of Duluth doesn't get a great deal of ice time. But Skorch's line plays the majority of the time, and they're supplanted by Fairchild's line, who's had quite a good tournament thus far.
Now it's Ratzlaff, Monsrud, and Fogarty. Up front for Rochester, John Marshall. Here comes Skorch the other way. Right side feed. He takes the return pass. Give and go with Earl Rock. They can't get loose. Pinching in at the point. They keep it free. Skorch knocked down in front. Puck again kept in at the line. And now Rochester John Marshall with a chance to get it out. Rob Danik goes back to get it with 8 minutes and 16 seconds to go. Second period, a 1-1 tie. Fogarty, he loses possession. Skorch forechecking, and now Ratzlaff at the other end trying to get loose. Here's Christensen dumping it in. Back to get it, Monsrud. Up to Fogarty. Fogarty giving chase, but Larson clears it away. Now E.J. White. Steps over center, fires it in. On the other side, Carlson, sharp angle shot, and Pearson had it covered. Shots on goal, 15-7 in favor of Rochester John Marshall. Here's Ratzlaff. Dumps to the corner. After it, there's Bixby. Bixby centers it, and a shot on goal. Michelizzi with the save off Rob Mack.
As Bixby was going down, he just reached around and centered that puck. Mack shoots right off the pass, and Bixby made a great play getting this to Mack right there. And Michelizzi was playing it perfectly. He was tight against the pipe. He gave him nothing to shoot at, standing up, made the save, and held on for the face-off to his left.
He's made 23 stops against White Bear Lake yesterday, 15 already in this game. And Duluth Denfeld has allowed just 7 goals in their last 5 games. Cleared up on the boards, but kept in by Williams. On the far side, Rob Mack, Podine, and Bixby doing a nice job of forechecking. Bixby takes his man to the boards. Podine steps in, trying to get a face-off. Fairchild takes it free. It'll be kept in by Means. His shot knocked down in front. Somebody's lost a helmet out there. He heads to the bench, and icing is the call against Duluth Denfeld. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Domino's Pizza. Our new pan pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly, and you're watching Channel 4, the Twin Station.
6:46 remaining in the second, 1-1 tie, Duluth and Rochester, in a game that's becoming more physical as play goes on.
Been an interesting hockey game. Both teams playing very disciplined. Not many mistakes. Lepisto kept in. Smolek, big blast right on. Michelizzi kicked it out. Now back the other way, Duluth Denfeld. Sending it down into the corner. After it goes Lepisto. There's a big hit by Steve Schweiger as he knocked down his man, and Schweiger goes after it. And we're going to have a penalty. Schweiger continues to forecheck. Finally, play whistle down, and let's see, Bill Vukanich is angry with the official who made the call, which suggests this is going against the Hunters.
Well, you're going to see a charging penalty, but Vukanich almost got a bench penalty because he was complaining about it. As you see along the boards, when Schweiger is going to hit Flores right here, he's getting a charging penalty for that. But watch, here comes the second check, and I think that's what Vukanich was complaining about. He said, if we're getting one, get them one. But this game is becoming more physical, as we said, and they're not passing up any checks down there.
And did you see who was right in the middle of it? Number 2, Bucky Flores, but that's Schweiger in the penalty box. His dad played for Duluth Denfeld, and his uncle Gene was an all-star.
Well, this is the first power play of the game. Be interesting to see what kind of power play Rochester's going to have here.
Rochester, John Marshall 0 for 2 with the man advantage in their first game. And Duluth killed off Duluth Denfeld killed off its only shorthanded situation. Here comes Ratzlaff. Monsrud, and he shot way wide. That was a great setup, but Monsrud would like to have that over again. Now Fogarty has the puck. This is a great power play. Mean shooting, and that deflected off somebody and goes over the glass, out of play. But Ratzlaff and Monsrud had a big chance to beat Michelizzi.
You're right, Chris. I don't know what Monsrud's thinking right now, but he's going to say, I'm never going to get much better chance than that. Ratzlaff played it perfectly. He came down, he pulled a man over in a 2-on-1. He waited until the goalie committed to his right a bit, and as soon as he saw that, he slid it across. Monsrud had the whole side. I think he tried to put too much on the shot and put it through the net rather than getting away quickly on the net because he had the goalie beat. And it all started because Duluth was very aggressive, killing the penalty down deep and got 3 people caught. Fogarty made a great outlet pass to Ratzlaff coming out of the zone, and that's what started the 2-on-1.
I don't have the statistics on it, but on paper, I would think this would be the best power play in the tournament. Rochester, John Marshall with those 2 point men, Means and Smolek, and a great line up front. Here's a loose puck. Michelizzi goes down, and he will cover again before any damage is done. 5:24 left, second period. 1:18 remaining in the Schweiger penalty.
Well, this has got to be a big penalty kill for Duluth if they can kill it, because Rochester, if they ever get a lead, they check very well. You see Fogarty hanging around the net, but there's Burns. He's standing around. He's going to make certain that his goaltender can see the puck. And when a man comes through the crease like that, he just pushes him right out of there.
Ratzlaff wins the draw. Monsrud against the boards. Puck comes loose. Earl Rock can't clear it. Here's Means. Shooting right on. Rebound rolled wide. And again, a whistle as the net was knocked off its moorings. But they have had their chances on this power play.
For pure offensive skill, you don't find many players coming into the tournament with more offensive ability than Eric Means right here. You see him get another good shot away. He's got a great sense of timing of when to step in and get that puck, when to take the chance, when to come with the play. He reminds you a lot of Hoggood that plays with Boston, a small defenseman with great offensive skills.
From the face-off, Duluth Denfeld gets this one and clears it down the ice, and that's Greg Christensen after it. Christensen deep in the corner. He'll try and kill off some seconds or get a face-off. Play continues. Bodies go down. Puck comes loose, and Fogarty chops at it. There's Christensen on the other side. Takes a hit from Means. And now Fogarty starts up with 40 seconds to go in the man advantage. Big Jeff Fogarty. Going to Navy next year as a linebacker, 6'3", 215. Smolek now to Means. Cross-ice, Ratzlaff missed the open net. Oh, boy. Doesn't get much closer than that. What a nice play, and Ratzlaff just failed to finish it.
You draw those kind of plays.
Still time left in the man advantage. Means. Smolek. Shot right on. Michelizzi gave up the rebound, but Duluth Denfeld will get it out of the zone. More furious action, but Duluth Denfeld hangs in there. It's still 1-1.
We had a four-way passing play. The puck comes back to Smolek. He sends it across to Means, and Means right across the ice to Ratzlaff. Here comes Smolek to Means. Watch 14 down here. A great pass from Means. He misses the wide-open net. Oh, he's just going to be sick about that one. He had just set up, as we were talking about earlier, Monsrud for a chance, which was good, but not that good. That one's the best chance of the night for either team.
Duluth Denfeld is back at full strength as Schweiger comes back onto the ice. Steve Williams. Now Brian Nelson sends it down for Duluth Denfeld. Back to get it is Rob Danik. One of the rare times in a game you won't see Smolek or Means on the ice. And here's a chance. Denfeld, a shot through the crease. And the defenseman seemed to have his glove on it. But play continues. Williams. I believe it was Podine had his glove on it.
It was Podine. Podine grabbed for it. It's a good thing he just didn't grab the puck. The referee was just waiting to call him on it. And especially if he'd have grabbed it in the crease, as you mentioned earlier, that could be a penalty shot.
Close call at the other end. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
There's only one channel on TV to watch the Minnesota Twins in spring training, and this is it. Midwest Sports Channel.
Join us Sunday at noon when the Twins play Houston, only on MSC.
Cable TV, home of the Minnesota Twins. You got that right. That's right.
We're going to look at that chance by Duluth as you see the shot coming from the left side by Carlson. Watch the puck. Here's Podine reaching for it, grabbing it. He's actually got this glove right over it, and he got away with one there. He could have been called for delay of game.
Lepisto, Schweiger, and Apps for Duluth Denfeld. Floors, Hilken, and Blondin. Up front for Rochester, John Marshall. One of the officials had to duck out of the way of that clearing shot. Now it's fired right in on Michelizzi, but offside is the call.
Because Duluth comes right back with their third line, they got Lepisto, Johnson, or Apps and Schweiger there. This is the first time that we've seen neither Means nor Smolek out for 2 straight shifts. They were on for that full power play, and so 4 other defensemen were able to play and give them that little added rest that they wouldn't have been able to get.
In fact, we're seeing Mark Kromke and Todd Smith make a rare appearance on defense for Rochester, John Marshall. Here's Hilken the shot, and Floors reached out but just couldn't deflect the puck. Floors centers, Hilken trying to whack at it. There's Floors behind the net again. Lepisto would like to get a face-off, but Blondin gets it free. Blondin centers, shot, score!
And that goal was all made possible by Bucky Flores. Duluth is trying to freeze the puck, and even though he's only 5'2", you watch him. He goes in and lays a heavy check on the Duluth player, frees up that puck right just before that. Too bad we couldn't get it just before that, because that's when he freed up the puck, and the puck was able to come free, and that's when Rochester's going to get the goal. But that man number 2 right there, Bucky Flores, if you run that back just a little bit, just before that, before where Blondin gets it and centers it to Hilkin. See, Hilkin will get the goal, Blondin will get the assist, but Flores should get the real assist, the initial assist, because he laid a check on when Duluth was trying to freeze that puck all alone in the corner, knocked the puck free, and that's when Blondin picked it up and passed it to Hilkin, and Hilkin gets a big goal.
And if there was a Cinderella story or an unlikely hero, it's John Hilkin. That is his first goal of the year. And it couldn't have come at a better time. 2:19 left, second period, and Hilkin has fired Rochester John Marshall into the lead. So a big goal by the third line of the Rockets has put them in front.
And they are going to give Flores an assist. Blondin and Flores on the assist. 2:07 remaining, 2-1 lead for Rochester. And Rochester's depth paying off there a little bit. That was the opportunity they took to give their third line and their 5th and 6th defensemen chance on the ice, and they capitalized with a goal. Shots this period, Rochester out shooting Duluth 15-5 thus far.
Comes Troy Skorich now leading the attack for Duluth Denfeld. Fired it in wide of the goal, chases after it, takes down Danik. Here's a puck centered, cut off by Sam Pearson. Now Rochester John Marshall can't clear it, as the big line for the Hunters tries to get the equalizer. Tony Burns breaks up an attack, and it's sent back down into Rocket territory with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the second period. Puck comes outside the line, cleared back in. And here's Smolek with it. Off the boards, a lead pass for Fogarty. Now Tony Burns, cross ice. And Christensen with his head down, and he was punished by Smolek. And Christensen takes the step or two and heads to the bench. And you can tell that he has been shaken up.
What a hit he laid on him. Christensen looking back for that pass. A good, hard, clean hit. It was clean all the way. And it's just ironic because Christensen had laid a real heavy check on Smolek on the second shift of the period. In fact, just before he scored the goal, down in some action in the corner, but Smolek with a heavy, heavy body check right there on Craig Christensen, who's been one of the best players in the tournament for Duluth thus far.
You saw 11 returning players for Duluth Denfeld to this tournament, 9 for Rochester John Marshall. Back in come the Rockets, a shot right on goal. Michelizzi steers that aside. Means was taken down, and Means is hurt. Eric Means has been hurt inside the line, and that is why play has been whistled down, and Rochester John Marshall hopes this isn't serious.
Well, he took a check. It didn't look like it was that hard. It's the way he got hit after he took the shot. And Rochester right now has got to be very concerned because this fella is a unique offensive defenseman. Great abilities to move the puck. Excellent scoring touch for a defenseman. And an outstanding player all year long. I don't know. It might have just got his wind knocked out of him because sometimes it's the way you get hit or how you fall. That's Jim Marshall, trainer from the university, looking him over. You see that Eric Means, 4-year letterman in hockey, and he's only 5'8", 170, but boy, he's got great credentials. He's going to Colorado College, from what I understand. He just accepted a scholarship this week. And Brad Butow is going to be very thrilled to have this player with him. He's going to put some numbers up on the board in college hockey as well.
All this coming with 49 seconds to go in the second period. 2-1 in favor of Rochester John Marshall. Bill Vukanich's team took the lead on a goal by Christensen at the 36-second mark, but 9 seconds later, Means, the injured player, tied the score, and then Hilkin with his first of the year from Blondin and Flores at 12:41 has put Rochester John Marshall in the lead.
Well, we certainly hope Means is all right, because he's had an outstanding tournament. You don't like to see anyone get hurt in a tournament. Get hurt at all, but much less in a situation like that. We'll take a look. You see him taking the shot, and he's just going to get hit from the blind side now right here. And I think it might be his wind. He got hit up high. He's 5'8". You go to hit a man clean, and it was a clean check. The arms are up, but the Duluth player coming from the right side just got his elbow almost under the chin or in the neck, and maybe just snapped his neck a little bit. I think he's all right.
That was Bruce Carlson with the hit.
Well, there's been some heavy hitting, especially in this period. We said it's been getting more physical as the game goes on.
Christensen at the other side has been shaken up. We'll be interested to see if he has to miss a shift or two. Tony Burns and John Michelizzi take a break to discuss proceedings here. I heard a couple of hockey people compare Eric Means with Peterson, the defenseman last year for Jefferson, I think. Same build anyway.
Much the same. A lot of things the same, too. The size, they're both 5'8". The way they like to move with the puck, the way they get involved in the play, their goal-scoring abilities. I'm not so certain that pure goal scorer, the Means might not even be a better goal scorer. Peterson, to me, looked a little quicker. Peterson has got just great wheels. He's having an outstanding season for the Gophers as well. He and Larry Olam, two freshmen, have moved into the university, played in this tournament last year, and they were both not big players, but big in stature, but they certainly play big, and they've got great skills.
While we have the opportunity, a reminder tonight in the other semifinal, it'll be International Falls up against Bloomington Jefferson.
Well, he got his bell rung a little bit, but I'm certain he's okay.
He got to his skates after the hit and then just crumpled back down onto the ice. And he's still a bit woozy.
Some people have an old saying in hockey: don't watch the pass or don't watch the shot. Pretty play, but pretty dazed afterwards. And he was focused on where that puck was going. He didn't see Carlson coming from his left. I'm sure you're going to see him back next period. I hope you will, but I really feel that he's just been shaken up a little bit, and 49 seconds to go in this period. He'll get himself a 15-minute rest after that, and he'll be back.
Duluth Denfeld hoping to change that statistic, because it looks like they're going to be in another one-goal game either way. Right now, Bob Burker's team is on top, 2-1, as we get set to play out the final minute of this second period. Seconds to go as they face off near center ice. Ratzlaff and Christensen is back, so that's good news for the Duluth Denfeld team. Christensen took quite a hit from Doug Smolik. Here's Skorich. His pass deflected to Tony Burns, and Burns leads the rush. 30 seconds to go. Shot right on. Smolik is there to corral the rebound. The smooth skating defenseman sends it down the ice. Brett Larson has it there off the boards. They take a look at the clock. A dozen seconds to go as it's cleared to center. Skorich is tripped up in the center ice zone, and a tripping call will be made with 6 seconds left in the second period. And so Duluth Denfeld will start the third with a man advantage. So a big penalty going against Jeff Fogarty of Rochester, John Marshall.
Well, you don't like to get penalties late in the period, and you don't like to get penalties in the offensive zone or the neutral zone, especially in tripping a rookie. And that is a very crucial penalty that Rochester has just taken, because there's only 6 seconds now, but they've got almost a full power play next period, and they certainly don't want this game tied at the beginning of the period.
They are not able to get a shot on goal in the early seconds of the man advantage, but that will be a consolation for Duluth Denfeld as they start the third, trailing 2-1, but with the man advantage when we begin the third period of play. I thought a little more open in the second period, but both teams continue to play well.
Well, there are definitely more chances, a lot more shots on goal. 16-9, I believe, was Rochester out shooting Duluth. But more than that, I think you saw more physical play, good quality chances by both teams, and an excellent period of hockey. The pace has just gotten quicker as the game's gone along. It's been a high pace all the way through. It's been each of these clubs' best game, I think, thus far, and it has to be, because the quality opposition is good enough that if you're not playing the way they are right now, this would be a runaway for one team.
Two tough, disciplined hockey teams. It's going to be an interesting third period. Now let's go to sports control.
All right, Chris and Lou, Ralph and I down here in our studio, adjacent to the locker rooms, and we had the opportunity to watch Eric Means from Rochester, John Marshall, very slowly walk with the aid of Jim Marshall, the head trainer, and a couple other people into the locker room. The first report from Jim Marshall, the trainer here at the Civic Center, is that again, what Lou Nanny said, that Means really got his bell rung. They're going to run some tests on him in the locker room right now to make sure that he's okay before he's able to step back on the ice for the third period.
Just the way he was getting up, it appeared it might have been a snap of the neck or something, but they do say that it is a head injury, and we'll have to see whether or not he returns for the second period.
Never saw him coming.
No, sirree. Sure. So it is 2-1, Rochester John Marshall over Duluth Denfeld after 2 periods of play here at the Civic Center in our semifinal game. Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing coverage of the 1989 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
When you've applied for a loan, the first thing you want is a fast answer. The last thing you want is to wait. And wait. And wait. And wait. Escape to TCF. We'll give you an answer in 8 hours on all kinds of loans.
Hey, Josh!
Of all the days to run away.
Poor Josh. It's so hot. It's so hot that the ocean's drying up.
Take it.
Gonna be even hotter tomorrow.
Looks so good, I just gotta have it. Can't beat it.
I guess we'll have to rent out his room.
Can't beat the feeling. Red Baron.
Red Baron Pizza, microwave singles, an unexpected pleasure.
What you get out of a project depends on what you put into your workshop. So get Master Mechanic power tools from True Value Hardware stores. Like their high-speed finishing sander for just $44.99. Or their 1/3 horsepower variable speed jigsaw for only $34.99. Or get a Master Mechanic 1 3/4 horsepower plunge router for just $65.99. And their 7 1/4 inch circular saw for only $39.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Rochester John Marshall leading Duluth Denfeld 2-1 after 2 periods. But Ralph, 2 concerns facing John Marshall. The health, first of all, Eric Means, see if he's able to come back for the third period.
Power play.
And of course the power play by Denfeld. They'll have almost a full 2 minutes to start that third period.
Be interesting as we start that third period. But right now we're going down to Tom Hanneman on the ice. Tom?
Thanks, guys. As Tony Parker has reminded us through the years, this state high school hockey tournament would not be the same without the pep bands and the cheerleaders. And I've got the Duluth Denfeld cheerleaders with me right now. We'll meet them to begin with. Your name?
Kristen Berg, Senior.
Tara Johnson, Senior. Paula Eckard, Senior. Kirsten Lister, Senior.
Jika Stangwe, Senior.
Rana Mladziniak, Senior.
Why do I feel like Dick Clark? I have him rate a record or something. I understand that most of the people from Duluth stayed over, so you've got a lot of people that are able to keep cheering, right?
Yeah.
Any people back up that were not able to make it down for the game?
We had one pep bus come down. The other pep bus couldn't come down because the weather was so bad. So they're back home watching it on the television, I suppose.
Now, I understand hockey is not the only thing on your minds either. There's a girls' basketball team. Tell us a little bit about how they're doing. They've got an incredible record, I understand.
They're undefeated. They're undefeated. That's all you have to say.
Hi, guys.
Come on, you guys. Good luck.
lot of energy here. We'll let them get going. We'll send it back to sports control.
All right, Tom. We can tell you that Bill Vukanich, the head hockey coach at Duluth Denfeld, has a daughter playing on that basketball team. He said they were thinking of sending that other Pep Fest team, the bus team, over to Hibbing. That's where they're playing International Falls tonight. If Duluth Denfeld wins that game, the girls' basketball game, then they go to the state tournament in basketball.
Crystal is her name. I understand she's the starting center for the unbeaten Denfeld Hunters up there.
Yes,
Good
so
luck to
wife
them.
and Crystal are in Hibbing right now, not watching hockey, but basketball.
A fast-paced second period, starting off with Duluth Denfeld getting a goal early in that second period. It was Greg Christensen set up beautifully by Troy Skorik, making it 1-0. That's 36 seconds into the second period.
Yes, but then just 9 seconds later, fastest 2 goals in semifinal history in the state. Number 14, Rochester John Marshall, Corey Ratzloff.
Then Rochester's third line comes through. John Hilken scoring his first goal of the year. Bucky Flores, as Lou Nanny indicated, really set it up with a big bruising check behind the net. 2-1 Rochester.
I said Ratzloff. I meant Eric Means on that goal for Rochester. Here's a flurry in front of John Michelizzi of Denfeld. They say this is a goaltenders tournament, and Michelizzi is holding Denfeld in there right now, although they do trail 2-1.
Michelizzi with 14 saves, a very busy man in that second period. Sam Pearson coming up with 5, a couple of big ones. Michelizzi right now facing 20, Pearson 8. And Ralph, we've emphasized so much about some of the big names and where they're going to school to play hockey after this tournament. Eric Means, for instance, possibly going to Colorado College. Doug Zmolak going to the University of Minnesota. But I think of the players like John Hilken. We saw Hilken score his first goal for Rochester John Marshall. And for the majority of the players like Hilken, basically their sporting careers are going to end here. Hilken's going to UMD, but doesn't have any plans to play sports after this. So this is the way to go out for the majority of the players, and that's why this experience is so special to all these guys.
Like 90% won't go
Oh,
on
absolutely. Not too many scholarships are coming out of here.
Right. Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing coverage of the 1989 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
I rock all across the country, and wherever I go, I see people getting healthy. Yeah, there's something they know. They know that milk's got the vitamins and protein too. So get some milk in your health kick, whatever you do. Come on and kick, health kick with milk. Come on and kick, health kick with milk. America's favorite health kick, milk.
Get on a health kick with milk.
It's the super sale at Menards, and we're having a decoration celebration. Dutch Boy Confident Latex paints are on sale now. Confident Flat Paint has a velvety flat finish and 6-year guarantee. Now just $5.88 per gallon. Confident Semi-Gloss gives you scrubbable, washable walls. On sale now for just $8.88 per gallon. Hurry in for savings on Dutch Boy paints at Menards.
We're helping you build America's heartland at Menards.
Here's some news the Noid won't like. Domino's Pan Pizza. Thick, chewy crust smothered with cheese and toppings and delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. Sorry, Noid. Call for Domino's Pan Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
Big news from Domino's Pan Pizza. Call for our Pan Pizza meal deal. A pan pizza with 2 toppings and 2 servings of Coke, just $8.95 plus tax. Call your participating Domino's Pizza store today.
Listen to how farmers use Eradicane that make it just as easy to work with as Dual or Lasso. Bennett?
I applied Eradicane with 28% nitrogen and made 2 passes with the field cultivator. The performance was just unbelievable, and it worked much better than the Dual I incorporated.
And you, Jerry?
My dealer impregnated Eradicane on dry fertilizer and made 2 passes with the field cultivator. I was making a tillage pass before I incorporated Lasso anyway.
Eradicane is workable. See your dealer.
Rochester John Marshall leading Duluth Denfeld 2-1 in this first semifinal game after 2 periods. Game 1 of the tournament felt more like a championship game. Rochester John Marshall on a 21-game winning streak, beating #1 and defending state champion Edina. 2 brothers were a big part of that effort, Corey and T.J. Ratzloff. Tom Hanneman has that report.
The family Mayo can step aside. In Rochester, the talk of the town is the family Ratzloff. It's 2 sons of the surgeons of steamrolling John Marshall High.
Ratzloff scores!
The tournament has become an annual Ratzloff family reunion. All 3 of Mary and Harvey's boys have played here. This year, Corey and TJ share the ice.
I'm really excited right now. I've been to a lot of hockey games, and I thought that it didn't bother me too much, but boy, I don't know. This is a little bit too much. Beating Edina will really be great.
Yeah, everybody thought we weren't going to get out of the section this year, and we're just excited to be here.
As a John Marshall High School junior, Corey has been the leading scorer of his team this season. But their defeat of #1 ranked Edina in the first game of the tournament was especially sweet for him.
Great. I don't know, I can't describe it.
Off the ice, they share their victory both as teammates and brothers.
He always comes through for us a lot of the time, and it's just great to have him on the team. Great brother. I love him. Just great.
With more than 14 family fans, the Ratzloffs of Rochester figure they're the perfect cheering section. And the brothers know they'll have one more season to play together. After this weekend, they hope it will be a season to share as champions.
The Ratzloff brothers, the dominating brothers, Rochester John Marshall. Of course, the dominating news story in the state of Minnesota and western Wisconsin today continues to be the weather. And right now, we're going to turn it over to Bud Kraling in the Weather Center to get that very important update. Bud?
Our WCCO weather guide lists today, Friday, March 3rd, as the peak of the snowfall season. Seems to be coming true. We've had 7 inches of snow in the metro area, 8 at Red Wing, and 9 to 9.5 from New Ulm to Mankato. Some areas getting snow at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour, and precipitation moving off to the northeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour. A number of warnings and snow advisories for the 5-state area. Winter storm warning for all of South Dakota, northern Iowa, all of Wisconsin, and really almost all of Minnesota, except for the northwestern corner, where we have a snow advisory. And it looks like 10 to 15 inches of snow by tomorrow morning in an area from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, about the southern third of Minnesota, through the Twin Cities, and to Wausau, Wisconsin. 5 to 10 from Alexandria up through the North Shore, and 1 to 3 in the northwestern part of the state. We've had 7 inches of snow in the metro area, and Red Wing reporting 8 and 9 at New Ulm. And no parking tonight on snow emergency routes in Minneapolis and St. Paul. That's our weather update to now.
All right, Bud, thanks much. Of course, we'll be having more information on the weather situation involving schools and banks and shopping centers right after this break, Ralph.
Okay, let's take that break. This is a live continuing coverage from the 1989 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
I always get caught in these trendy restaurants and like I want a hamburger. But how do you order a burger when they're pushing radicchio? So I just breathe deep and I think, what would Lauren Bacall do?
I got a taste for some real food.
When I have a taste for a burger, that's what I order. If it's not on the menu, I glare at the waiter and say, improvise. Then I purr.
I've got a taste for some real food. The care behind this card started over half a century ago.
Good morning. We're crossing.
Today, that caring continues. Listening, learning, working together.
This Blue Cross report confirms what we're doing in the therapy.
And helping you keep the doctor you know and trust. You may not always see the care behind the card, but you can't miss the feeling it brings.
Care behind the card.
Panasonic Video. All on sale. 3 days only at Best Buy. Panasonic televisions and VCR. Panasonic camcorders. All on sale. Thursday through Saturday. Best Buy's 3-day video sale. Top name brands on sale at Best Buy.
Used to be, when investors got into the stock market, they could almost plan on things going one way. But unfortunately, things don't always come out as planned. So if you're looking for an investment you can count on, come to TCF for a variety of insured savings plans that offer a guaranteed rate and keep yourself well covered.
How much, how long, how cold? The winter storm details tonight at 5.
Well, Ralph, we have more weather-related information. First of all, the school closings. More than 200 elementary and secondary schools today closed in Minnesota. 183 this morning alone. More than 50 schools in western Wisconsin have closed. Mankato State University closed today. The University of Minnesota stayed open.
I have a couple of notes here, too, Mark. First of all, no major roads have been closed in Minnesota. Conditions are rated fair to poor at best. High winds are starting to drift snow in southern Minnesota. Some roads in that part of the state could be affected later today. Matter of fact, the people in Sleepy Eye, my scout down there, Les Hollow, was just telling me that things are really getting bad with the winds kicking up. So they should be staying off the roads.
Snow emergencies. The following cities have declared snow emergencies: Minneapolis, St. Paul, Bloomington, Golden Valley, and Richfield. And the banks were sent their employees home more early today.
Okay, all the Dales are closing today at 5 o'clock. That includes Dale Dobish, usually closing at 9:50. The City Center and the IDS Crystal Court are closing at 5 p.m. Usually they close at 9. All metro area Dayton's, Penny's, and Carson stores closing at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
And Minneapolis Memorial Blood Bank closed up this afternoon. They never closed up anything in Sault Ste. Marie, where Lou Nanny grew up. He walked to school every day.
And we're going to continue with hockey. Take it away, man.
Okay, a good day to stay inside and watch what should be a great third period in the first semifinal game between Rochester John Marshall and Duluth Denfeld. The Rockets leading the Hunters 2-1 as we get set for the third period. And from the face-off, Hunters are on the power play. Up front, they've got Skorich, Christensen, and Earl Rock. Tony Burns mans 1 point, Brett Larson the other. As they get control down in Rocket territory, that's Larson at the point. Skorich is behind the net. Christensen has the puck. There's Skorich. Centers it in front. Christensen can't reach the pass. Rob Danik trying to get possession. He passes it around the boards to Smolik. He kicks it ahead and now gets it outside the zone. Killing the penalty up front, Eric Monsrud and Corey Ratzlaff. Back ins Christensen. 1:10 to go in the man advantage. Tony Burns to Christensen. Burns moves to the middle, passes it over, and missed Earl Rock. Danik off the boards, kept in by Larson. Rock to Skorich, goes to the net. Skorich again. Christensen's in front. Skorich back to Burns. Skorich again, loses it. Monsrud with it, and gets it by Burns and down the ice.
A good job penalty killing by Rochester, but Duluth is moving that puck around pretty sharply. They're trying to get Christensen right in front of the net for a good shot.
Here's Skorich moving in. That shot was blocked. Smolik up with it, and he clears the zone. 25 seconds to go. Man advantage is Michelizzi. Sends it up for Burns, who takes a hit from Bucky Flores. Flores and Podine now to kill the rest of the penalty. Earl Rock almost lost it as Flores and Podine were on the prowl. And now Rochester John Marshall killed the rest of the penalty. They send it down the ice. Jeff Fogarty is just about ready to return. He's back on the ice. Rochester John Marshall kills the penalty. And offside is the call at the Rochester John Marshall blue line. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Better Highline presents Minnesota's largest home improvement and patio show, Wednesday, March 8th through Sunday the 12th at the St. Paul Civic Center. The Home Improvement and Patio Show. Don't miss it.
Well, John Marshall killed off a very important penalty with 13 minutes to go in the third period. They're leading 2-1. Eric Means has not returned to action thus far.
And that would indicate that Doug Smolik's going to see an awful lot of ice time. Third period as Fogarty drifts the shot off the mark. Fairchild, Nelson, and Carlson up front. And here comes Fairchild to the line. Passes across in front. Nelson just couldn't get the shot away. He was all tied up. Good indication of how John Marshall came back defensively. Now back come the Rockets at the line. Ratzlaff dumps it in. Duluth Denfeld up with it, and it's Larson down the right side. He sends it deep into Rocket territory. Rob Danik goes back to get it. Danik ahead for Fogarty. That missed. And it's wrapped around the boards by Dan Lepisto. One of 8 sophomores on this team. Lepisto number 2. Out there with 12, Brett Apps, another sophomore who ties it up for a face-off deep in Rochester John Marshall territory.
Well, John Marshall's got to start using the boards a little bit. They're trying too many perfect passes coming out of their zone. They've missed on 3 or 4 of them that could have really hurt them. because that puck goes right to the point man of Duluth. They get a shot on net. When a man's coming at you, use the boards. They're a friend of yours at that time. Just use it to ring it by the man. Have your man on the boards just pick it up. You got to make certain to get that puck out when you get control.
Lepisto against Podine on the draw, and from the faceoff, it's cleared to the corner. That's Mark Fromke. Number 23 for Rochester, John Marshall. We may see more of him with the injury to Eric Means. Fromke takes his man to the boards, and back to get it is Steve Williams. Turning away from one man, being forechecked, up the boards it goes. Mack, his cross-ice pass just about intercepted by Schweiger. Now lead for Podine, rolls down into Duluth Denfeld territory. Here's a chance. Podine knocked down in front. Puck is loose. They pile up and get a face-off. 11:22 to go. Third period.
Duluth come out on the power play. They've been putting pressure on Rochester, and they've kept up the pressure. They haven't been able to get any shots on net, but they're getting some territorial advantage now. And one thing Rochester will really notice is the loss of Eric Means, because he relieves the pressure. He gets a hold of that puck. He gets you out of problems. He can carry it. He can make certain that you get some offensive chances and keep Duluth off balance, but he's not able to play right now, and it could be a telling factor for Rochester.
Here's that third line for Rochester, John Marshall, Blondin, Hilken, and Flores, and Hilken right now the hero of the moment with his first goal of the year to give the Rockets a 2-1 lead. There's Blondin centering it, Hilken firing, and Michelizzi with a big save as Hilken looked for his second.
Hilken made an excellent pass to Blondin. He took a look, saw where Blondin was, and he was in perfect position at the top of the slot. Look at this, right out atop the hash marks. A great pass, good shot, but right at the goalie. Goalie makes a good save. Michelizzi had to come across and stop that puck, but a fine play by Rochester.
Brent Larson can't clear the zone. Rochester, John Marshall forechecking. There's Bucky Flores on the far side. Into the corner it goes for Pat Blondin. Blondin takes a hit. Flores is in there. Down goes Blondin. Up with the puck comes Duluth Denfeld, and they hit center. Christensen rifles it in. Right on goaltender Pearson. Christensen centers it, and Pearson down to make the stop. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Financing can put the home of your dreams out of your reach. Now there's help. Realty World and TCF.
Well, Duluth had a good opportunity there, but Pearson made the save and sat on a rebound.
Fogarty being watched. Bruce Carlson forechecking number 3. Hits Steve Williams. Puck cleared up the boards. There's another good body check. That one dished out by Dale Anderson, and finally Ratzlaff gets it out of the zone. Up for Fogarty at the line. Ratzlaff trailing, moving in, cross ice for Monsrud, just behind him. Fairchild spins and clears to center. 10-10 left, third period. 2-1 in favor of the Rochester John Marshall Rockets. Here's a giveaway. Fogarty shoots just wide. It may have gone off Michelizzi. Another shot right in front, and Anderson in front of goaltender Michelizzi almost deflected that one past his teammate.
But Duluth is starting to use their body even more than they were before. Their forwards are bigger than Rochester forwards, with the exception of Fogarty for Rochester. And Duluth is starting to use some heavy hitting here. Carlson and Rock up front there. You see Carlson just lay a check on Ratzlaff. But people like Carlson, Rock, Christensen, they're throwing a lot of checks out there in Skorich, and it may have a telling effect and create some opportunities for them.
Bob Furker sends out his fourth line for a shift here in the third period. It's Anderson, Ratzlaff, and Peterson. That's the younger Ratzlaff, TJ, and icing the call against Duluth Denfeld. 9:42 to go.
And he doesn't mind those whistles when they're caused by icing by Duluth, because he gets face-offs deep in Duluth territory. He's got the fourth line out there, but he can get his line rested, his top lines rested, and not really have the play going in such that he can't get a line change when he needs it.
Once again, defenseman Eric Means of Rochester, John Marshall, shaken up in the second period. He is not on the bench for the third. We are checking to see how he's doing. Brent Larson behind the goal. Larson with a nice move, centered out in front, and it's cleared to the corner. Schweiger knocks it behind the net. Lepisto into forecheck. That's Smolik with it. Up ahead for Brock Peterson, and he gets it to center. Cleared back in by Larson. Duluth Denfeld clears the zone, and now will make a line change. Smolik up to Flores. Here's a intercepted pass, and it's cleared in front by Earl Rock, and Rochester, John Marshall is able to get possession. Back the other way, T.J. Ratzlaff bodied off the puck. Steve Williams turns away from one man. Now backhands it ahead. Bixby clears it inside the zone, but over the glass, out of play. With the score, Rochester John Marshall 2, Duluth Denfeld 1. This is Hockey 89, live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
You've seen those Chevy versus Ford tests, right? We came up with one of our own. Half-ton 4x4s, best available tires, driven at the same identical speed right through this 18-inch deep ditch. Now, this is a real control test, so don't you try it, because you'll damage your truck. That's the Chevy with torsion bar suspension, and that's the Ford with twin traction beam suspension. And you can see why we've had to change a hard pickups. That's today's Chevy truck.
Well, Duluth did get an opportunity when the fourth line was out there for Rochester, but they couldn't get a good shot on net. Shots on goal thus far. Rochester out shooting Duluth 24-10. 8:41 remaining in the third period with Rochester leading 2-1.
And we've been told that Eric Means has a mild concussion, and he is under observation right now. The Rochester John Marshall doctors are with him. So it does not appear that Eric Means will be back for this hockey game. We certainly hope that he'll be all right and will be back before tournament's end. Dale Anderson behind his net, up on the right side, and here comes Earl Rock along with Troy Skorich. Skorich with a big shot that goes wide. Round the boards, kept in by Tony Burns. Mark Fromke up ahead to Podine. He clears it to the line, kept in by Burns. He goes down, and now Rochester John Marshall comes up with it. Here's Troy Bixby. Bixby in, fires off the mark. Bixby gets his own rebound, overskates it, battles away in the corner, and ties it up for a face-off. 7:47 to go.
Even though we said Rochester's out shooting Duluth by a wide margin, now it's 25-10. You notice Rochester's shooting the puck a lot more than Duluth. They're shooting it from far out. As soon as they get to the blue line, if they have nothing to do with it, they're trying long shots on the net. Consequently, their shot total is really building up, but the actual good scoring chances aren't that many. It's been a very close checking game for each of the clubs.
Pass on the right wing for Bruce Carlson. Into the middle it goes for line mate Nelson. Nelson is taken off the puck, and Bucky Flores just missed Blondin with a breakaway pass. And icing is the call, and the faceoff will come back into the Rochester John Marshall zone.
There was a perfect example of the checking in this game. For a moment there, it looked like Nelson and Carlson were going to have a 2-on-2 break. By the time they got to the blue line, Rochester had two forwards back as well. It was a 2-on-4. They break it up, turn around, and try to lead past it, which went for icing. But each club always having somebody back in position to check.
Rockets up with the puck, and they get it to center ice. Cleared back in by Larson. Rob Danik behind his goal. Good outlet pass on the left side for Hilken. The go-ahead goal scorer. Hilken clears it behind the net. Larson chops at it. Flores forechecking, and Larson gets it ahead. Here's a loose puck. Bucky Flores dives for it, knocks it to the corner. E.J. White off the boards. There's Larson. He moves it ahead past Fairchild, and it goes down the ice, icing the call. 6:48 to go with the score. Rochester John Marshall 2, Duluth Denfeld 1. This is Hockey 89 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Quality Lennox dealers. Since 1895, serving America's families with pride, commitment, value. Knowledgeable, skilled technicians. Professional service. Dependable, affordable year-round comfort. Today, the tradition continues.
See your Lennox dealer about a new Lennox air conditioning and heating system and get up to $400 cash back.
Your local Lennox dealer. Quality proven over time. Attaboy, Dave.
Well, with 6:48 remaining, Rochester leading 2-1. Top line for Duluth out there in Rochester. And on defense, we've got Williams and now Todd Smith because Means is out, so Smith has been taking his spot back on the point.
Here's Jeff Fogarty bursting in. Fogarty shooting Michelizzi, the skate save. And the Denfeld Hunters clear it to center ice. Fired back in by Smolik on Michelizzi. Good hit there in the corner. As Ratzlaff is forechecking with Monsrud. Monsrud in the other corner against Tony Burns. Puck squirts loose. And here come the Hunters. Long shot drifts wide of the goal by Skorich. Earl Rock was after it. Now the puck cleared back in offside. And we'll get a face-off outside the blue line as these two teams continue to pound each other.
Rochester staying very disciplined. Whenever the puck's going deep in the corner, their third forward's always high, and I mean real high. He's within 10 feet of the blue line. He's staying in position to make certain somebody is coming back. And that's what they've got to do, not get caught in an outman position when you're leading 2-1. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the third period.
A decade ago, Rochester John Marshall was in the state final. Lost to Edina East 4-3 in overtime. They're 6:06 away from a return trip in '89. But a lot of hockey left to play. Podine tangled up with Fairchild, gets it into the Duluth Denfeld zone. Here comes Carlson. Shooting it in. Rob Danik back to get it. Lead pass too far for Rob Mack. And it's Larson around the boards. There's Brian Nelson. He can't get loose. Tries the other side. Carlson's there. And the forechecking by the Rockets right now, bottling up Duluth Denfeld, but here they come, led by Carlson. At center, past one check, sliding it into the zone. And there's Smolik. Quarterback of their football team, and certainly quarterback of this team as well. Mack off the boards, chasing after it. Podine, he's knocked down. And Duluth Denfeld is up with it. Pass for Earl Rock. And let's see, icing the call. With 4:55 to go, a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
March Madness means two things: exciting action on the ice and winter weather outside. For complete weather updates throughout the tournament, turn to Weather Center 4, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Solid checking in Rochester has that clock on their side. 4:55 to go. They're winning 2-1. They've only given Duluth one shot on goal this period.
All the goals scored in the second period so far.
And one thing, Chris, Skorich's line came right back out, so Coach Vukanich is down to 2 lines now.
Here comes Earl Rock. Had a broken jaw earlier this year. The lead pass for Christensen too far. Icing waved off. Tromke first to it. Bucky Flores knocked down. Puck though slides to center, and here's Pat Blondin. Blondin, Hilken trying to catch up. Blondin all the way. Fires just wide. Flores moves in. He can't get his stick on it. The other way for Earl Rock. Hits the line. Rock shooting. Just went wide. Fogarty got it outside the line. And now it's Steve Williams. Off the boards, past everybody. Icing waved off. 3 minutes, 57 seconds to play. Tony Burns hit a man with it. Here's a chance. Michelizzi down. They score! Burns with the giveaway. Ratzlaff with the goal.
What a goal by Ratzlaff. He got the rebound there. And as he's falling down, he whips it around backhand in, and it was a big line change that they just had He had Flores line out there against Scorch's line, giving him a rest. They came out fresh, stole the puck. And what a play by Ratzlaff after Monsrud takes the initial shot. Look at this. Monsrud taking a shot. Here comes a rebound. He's going to go down right here, and he just backhands it underneath the goaltender. A good play by Monsrud, stealing that puck, getting the shot. And the rebound coming right out to the streaking Ratzlaff. And Corey Ratzlaff puts it right underneath the arm, right there. And it was just previous to that, I wanted to say what a big line change they had when Flores was out there with Hilken and Blondin against the top line, Scorch's line, giving Ratzlaff line that extra rest, and they come out fresh and capitalize right away. So Rochester with a little more depth starting to pay off here, leading 3-1, 3:47 remaining.
Ratzlaff smiling after his 25th goal of the year, and it's now a 2-goal Rocket lead with just 3:47 to play.
They're going to check the stick now to see if there's a curve. This is a crucial call, because if that stick is legal, Duluth then will get a penalty. You know, in the NHL, if
that's an illegal stick, Lou.
Illegal? You see, there'll be no goal here. In high school hockey, if you score a goal with legal stick, they wipe the goal off and you'll get a penalty. In the National Hockey League, they can't disallow the goal. They can give you a penalty.
Well, the Denfeld fans have erupted here. The goal has been wiped out by an illegal stick. And it's almost as if Bill Vukanich had that one tucked away in case he needed it.
Well, you'll see the goal here. Puck was stolen right there by Monsrud, cutting in front, getting a shot and a rebound to Ratzlaff. He puts it in, and there's no goal because Ratzlaff had a legal stick. White Bear had that called. Actually, they called it on Simile during the sectional playoffs. They were wrong. The goal stood. The game was tied. And they had to go to overtime shorthanded. They scored shorthanded. But I'm surprised you don't see this called more if that's the case in high school hockey when they disallow the goal. You think anytime there's a crucial goal, you might as well challenge it.
It's just it's tentative. If it's illegal,
there used to be a tentative illegal stick. It was a misconduct in high school hockey.
It's already a double whammy because they've lost the goal and Ratzlaff goes to the penalty box.
Right. Okay, got it. Thank you.
The officials checking.
15. Yep, you're on it, Ted.
What a break for Duluth Denfeld. Not only is it now back to a 1-goal disadvantage, but they've also had time to rest up their troops. So this is a real key point of the game, and a very disappointing development for Corey Ratzlaff. You know, in the pros, you see pros doctor their sticks. I'm not sure if they do that at the high school level or whether he was just using an illegal stick that a supplier had given him.
Sometimes you just buy a bigger curve and it's already in there. That's why you should check your stick. But this is one of the reasons why we just changed the rule in the National League this year. We thought that you'd be having too many goals challenged if you challenge a goal and the goal's disallowed. You might as well just have the rule where a legal stick and a penalty, but if you don't challenge it before the goal stands.
So it's 2-1, and the Hunters go on the power play. Here comes Brett Larson. Firing it around the boards. Earl rocks on the other side. That's Skorich. Feeding across ice for Larson. They've been able to throw it around nicely on their power play, but without scoring a goal as yet. Control without the great scoring chances isn't enough. Skorich to Burns, to Skorich. Cross ice it goes, Larson. In front, Christensen alone! Down went Pearson, loose puck. Smolek up with it. Smolek to the boards, trying to get a whistle. Christensen digs it free. He's tripped up. knocks it around with his hand, and that's going to cause a face-off outside the line.
That's not a good play by Christensen because he was on the puck, but by passing it to his man, it's going to bring the face-off right out of the zone. He had two other people right there. Here's a flurry all alone in front of the net with Christensen, and he had an opportunity, but Pearson just cleared that. The pass wasn't good enough. Christensen did a good job trying to control it, but he couldn't get a stick on it.
Duluth Denfeld has called its timeout with 2 minutes, 40 seconds to play in regulation time. It's 2-1 Rochester John Marshall. And as you can see, 53 seconds to play in this power play for Duluth Denfeld.
You know, one thing you have to do when you're going to use an illegal stick like that, the moment you score a goal, get off the ice and make certain, you know, you change the stick. Never let them check a legal stick. First of all, you shouldn't use one going out there because that can happen. But that's a tough break on Corey Ratzlaff because not only does he not get the goal, he's sitting in a very precarious position right now, having 53 more seconds to go in the penalty. Duluth trailing 2-1, but on the power play, 2:40 to go in the third period, and a key player for Rochester out of the game in Eric Means.
I've heard NHLers say they have 2 sticks for a game, the illegal one they use during the game and the legal one they use for the last 5 minutes. I don't know if all players do that, but some do.
Oh yeah, some definitely do. Although, you know, coaches don't usually know that. They don't want players using a legal stick because that could be quite costly.
And usually, if a player is caught with an illegal stick, he's fined. I know one team, $500 for use of an illegal stick. Well, today's attendance, 14,598, the paid attendance. Here at the Civic Center, 10,104. So that means there were 4,494 snow shows for this afternoon session. And here's a break for Podine down the right side. Into the zone, wrist shot. Michelizzi got the blocker on it. Duluth Denfeld still with the man advantage, and they've got to use it well here. Down by 1 as time is running out. Here's Earl Rock. Stolen by Smolek. Smolek hit his man with the clearing pass. Here's Skorich in! And that one just went off somebody wide of the goal. Under 2 minutes to play. Burns fires through traffic. It deflected just wide of the mark. Good pressure, 5 seconds to go in the Ratzlaff minor. And Corey Ratzlaff returns to the ice. Christensen checked at the line by Floors. Now it's Christensen turning again. He's had a strong game, ridden out of the play by Steve Williams. Brett Larson backhands it to the corner. Line change for Duluth Denfeld. 1:26 to go, regulation time. Rockets lead by 1. Floors lead pass and a break for Fogarty. In fires Michelizzi the stop. Good pass by Bucky Floors. Here come the Hunters. Larson streaking down the wing. Saved by Pearson. Larson centers it. Smolek's there. Now they're caught up ice. And Michelizzi out of the net. Ratzlaff first down the ice, but Michelizzi alertly clears it around the boards with 52 seconds to play. Duluth Denfeld needs a big play now. Michelizzi comes out, but the big question, will he get time to come right out of the net to the bench for an extra attacker? Here come the Hunters. It's Burns, fires off the target. Michelizzi now heads to the bench. Christensen keeps it in, off the mark. Up with it, Rob Mack, off the boards, he'll ice it. He ices the puck. We have a face-off with 17 seconds left, deep in Rochester John Marshall territory, and Bob Burker sort of wishes Rob Mack would have carried the puck out instead of icing it.
Here's a chance by Skorich. He walked right in and got a good shot away. A big save by Pearson. And Duluth was putting on some intense pressure. They couldn't quite get free for a second shot or get a real good shot outside of the chance by Skorich. Rochester doing an excellent job of staying on their man, blocking the people's pass towards the net, and getting the puck out of the zone. That time, Mack got it out a little too hard. He wanted to get it down the zone, but he should have just played it up high off the glass and try and flick it out to keep it in play. With this, you get the face-off deep in the Rochester zone.
Bob Furker's upset because Bill Vukanich called his team over and discussed strategy. He's used his timeout. Furker thought there should have been a penalty, but we're ready to go now. Earl Rock to take the face-off against Ratzlaff. Big draw, won by Ratzlaff. Zmolik around the boards. Can they clear it? No. Earl Rock's in front. There's a pile of maroon shirts in front. They bang away and didn't get a shot on goal. 3 seconds left. Centered! And it just was deflected wide. It's over. It's over. And Rochester John Marshall is headed to the championship game.